what makes your offering different from the more general purpose cloud providers out there?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much. It's great to have an opportunity to speak with you. It's obviously a very exciting day over here at CoreWeave, and my whole team is very excited about these transactions as we go into the end of the year. I'm looking forward to really getting off to next year in the same footing. So to answer your question, CoreWeave is a specialized cloud computing company. And what we mean by that is we've made every decision from the hardware stack all the way through the software stack to really build a cloud that is specialized to address the needs of companies that need massive scale parallelized computing. When we talk about that, we're really talking about the three industries that we address. The first one is media and entertainment. And so if you go to see a Marvel movie, there's a good chance that several of those studios will have rendered their images on our infrastructure. The second one is basic science, synthetic biology. So think of that as like drug discovery and protein folding. And then finally, and most importantly right now, obviously, is the build out of infrastructure that is very, very appropriate for artificial intelligence and machine learning.
Mike, I keep hearing about CoreWeave. I have done all year long about just the sort of booming growth that you've experienced. I think you started the year disclosing you had 3 data centers online. Now I believe it's somewhere between 14 and 18. How have you been able to move so quickly on the infrastructure side?
Yeah, so, great teams all across our infrastructure, internal to the company, just incredible coordination, automation to allow us to kind of build and scale that. We also have great relationships up through the supply chains that have been so difficult for everyone to navigate. The support from our partners all through the supply chain has been incredible. And your numbers are correct. We've made a massive push in terms of the number of data centers that we are in. It puts us in a position to be able to serve the largest, most important artificial intelligence models that are being trained, that are being served to the public right now. And it's very exciting. We've got a lot more work to do, but definitely improving and increasing our footprint every day.
One of those partners is Nvidia. We're just showing some of your key customers on the screen, but Nvidia is a tech partner as well, right? And my understanding is that you're actually helping them, you yourselves, to build their own next-gen supercomputer. What can you tell us about that project?
So Nvidia is a wonderful partner of ours. They invested alongside Magnetar and K2 in our B round, which was where we raised $420 million in April of this year. It was a kind of massive step for us as we began to accelerate our growth through the year. And so by having a partner like Nvidia invest in the company, it made it very clear to all of our partners across the debt space, across the equity space, that they had looked at our infrastructure and were comfortable with the way that we built it in order to deliver the most performant configuration of the accelerated compute that is defined by their GPU.
You've been raising money, whether it be equity or debt, at quite a pace because, of course, what you're doing needs a lot of money. Would you tap the public markets? Would you think about going public as soon as 2024?
So as you said, we really made 3 different transactions in the capital markets this year. We did the B round early on. That was, as I said, a $421 million raise. We came back and we did a very, very large debt facility that was $2.3 billion that was really dedicated to purchasing the capital intensive infrastructure that's required. And then this secondary transaction is the final transaction for us for the year. We are not committed or have no real comment around the concept of going into the public markets, other than to say that we are capital intensive business and that we are going to need to continue to access capital markets in the most efficient way possible. And as far as that goes, all options are absolutely on the table for us as we look into the future.
Mike, quickly, you've built on H100 and DGX, but AMD's coming with Mi300. Have you looked at that?
Yeah, so we spend a lot of time researching all of the different silicon alternatives in the market. Right now, our focus is on the H100. I would argue that as you look across the AI space at large, the focus is on the H100. It's an amazing piece of silicon. It does incredible things in terms of moving the AI space forward. And so it's really been the majority of our effort. But we do monitor all of the different silicon alternatives that are out there that could potentially be integrated into a provider like us.